Coming up on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week.
March is almost over, but the madness is still in high gear. Students and businesses are getting ready for the Final Four.
Then some legislators are lobbying for a lottery. We'll let you know if the odds are in their favor.
And if you combine odds and March Madness, what do you get? Tournament gambling. We'll have this story.
Plus, a look at your Final Four forecast.
All that and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening. You're watching the March 30th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Joe Mott.
And I'm Courtney Robinson, filling in for Lydia Garlikov.
The Tar Heels' quest for a national championship has entered its final week.
That's right, Joe. The team leaves for St. Louis at 6 o'clock Wednesday night, and many fans and students won't be too far behind. Reporter Aaron McBeth is in the studio with more. Aaron?
Whether you're a member of one of the winningest teams in Carolina basketball history or just one of the group of diehard fans, this Saturday the destination is the same: 800 miles, St. Louis or bust. Tar Heel fans just might be some of the most dedicated in the country, but if you can't make it to St. Louis this weekend, don't worry. There will be plenty of festivities right here in Chapel Hill. Courtney?
I'm sure we'll try and bring that package back to you later. Aaron McBeth live in the studio. Thanks, Aaron. Now, Joe, you know, students aren't the only ones gearing up for the big game.
Check this out. This is Franklin Street after the Duke game a few weeks ago. Chapel Hill police are preparing for another party. If Carolina wins on Saturday, or should I say when Carolina wins, knock on wood, police expect 10,000 people to hit the streets. If the Heels go all the way, police expect 60,000 people to celebrate on Franklin Street Monday night. More than 150 officers are scheduled to work this weekend, and 300 if Carolina plays Monday. Police are taking some extraordinary steps, including asking area stores to restrict the sale of Carolina blue paint for the next week. Officers will close down streets by the end of the game Saturday. Franklin Street will be closed from Raleigh Street to Church Street and Columbia Street from Cameron Avenue to Rosemary Street. Starting at 3:30, you won't be able to park at the metered spots on the 100 block of East Franklin, Henderson Street, or North Columbia Street.
Student stores managers are hoping the big game will mean big business. Following the Tar Heels' taming of the Badgers, stores are selling thousands of shirts with the updated Final Four bracket, and fans are eagerly eating them up. Store managers say they hope to sell between 4,000 and 5,000 of these shirts this week.
If you're looking for a place to watch the semifinal game Saturday, you can put those Tar Heel tees and head to the Dean Dome.
The game will be shown on a 15 by 20-foot screen. Doors open at 5 p.m. Louisville and Illinois face off at 6:07. We play Michigan State at 8:37. 15,000 seats will be open free of charge. Carolina students, faculty, and staff with university IDs will be admitted first.
North Carolina is the only state on the East Coast and one of only 10 in the nation that does not have a lottery. This week, House Speaker Jim Black formed a committee to study the idea of a lottery. Mary McGuirt joins us now from the newsroom for a closer look.
Joe, supporters say it's time to stop just studying the lottery and instead take some action. They're ready to put one in place to keep North Carolina dollars in the state. Like many people, Durham resident Nathaniel Shaw has high hopes of one day hitting the jackpot. So at least once a week, he makes a drive to Virginia to purchase his lottery tickets. Owners of convenience stores in Virginia say this helps their business a lot.
Almost 80% of our customers from North Carolina. I mean, we stand at #1 in Virginia now. If it wasn't for North Carolina, we'd probably be nothing.
But Shaw says he wishes the money he was spending would go to fund projects like education in his own state.
I think we need to take our money and keep it in North Carolina.
Supporters of a North Carolina lottery say money that could be going to help out North Carolina schools is going just across the state line to help out schools in states like Virginia. North Carolina has debated a state lottery for years. Governor Easley supported it during both his terms. But political experts say North Carolina's current economy has legislators wondering where else the money could come from.
If they don't get the lottery revenue, then they're either going to have to cut budgets more severely or put off some of the advances in education.
Not everyone's a fan of the lottery. Former legislator Chuck Neely leads the coalition of citizens united against the lottery. Even though he doesn't want a lottery, he says, "I'm glad the speakers decided this is an issue that should be voted by the legislators and not by a referendum. That vote will determine North Carolina's chance for a lottery. But for now, Shaw's going to keep taking his chances across the border."
I didn't win.
Well, Joe, we should know if the idea will fly this time around in a couple of weeks. The committee will present findings, recommendations, and proposed legislation to the House by April 11th.
Mary, is it true that this would not be the first time North Carolina has had a lottery?
It is. Before North Carolina banned lotteries in 1834, they were pretty common. In 1801, there was a special lottery to fund the construction of South Building, one of the oldest buildings on campus.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much, Mary.
Thanks, Joe.
With the state facing $1 billion shortfall, the lottery could help some of North Carolina alleviate budget cuts in the North Carolina university system that is facing.
Joe, Carolina administrators have recalculated a new budget based on a 4% cut from the state. Here's what officials say the cut would mean. Faculty positions, both filled and unfilled, would be eliminated. Students would see larger numbers in classes, and other academic programs would be cut. Students would feel the effects of such a budget loss, especially when they visit libraries on campus. UNC Libraries has a current budget of $17 million from state support. This covers the cost of publications, salaries for 250 people, and operating equipment in 10 branch libraries and 3 major libraries on campus. Library officials say the first area that would be affected is equipment funding. Associate Provost for University Libraries, Sarah Mishlak, is concerned students won't have everything they need if the budget gets cut.
We would end up having computers that don't work as well, that are older and less capable.
Mishlak says library managers would get rid of unfilled positions first to avoid layoffs, which would mean longer checkout lines and a delay in cataloging new publications.
Davis Library is now taking advantage of a free service as one way to help students. The library has offered a chat service for a number of years. The library now offers help through Instant Messenger. Students can add Davis Ref Desk to their buddy list to send messages to staff in the reference department for information or research help. You can access the service from AOL, MSN, or Yahoo Messenger. The prominence of technology on Carolina's campus isn't just indoors. Students out on the quad show in part why the Princeton Review named Carolina the nation's 5th most connected campus. The colleges are ranked based on their public computer-to-student ratio, whether they have broadband networks, and whether students are required to have a computer. Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in New York is first, but Carolina is the top public school.
Last week, we told you Student Congress vetoed the student body president-elect's pick for VP. Well, Tuesday night, the body reversed that decision. Representatives reconsidered Adrian Johnston's qualifications and decided his friendship with incoming student body president Seth Dearman wouldn't be a problem. Johnston accepted the title. He'll be sworn in officially next week.
Public safety officers have to manage both motor vehicle traffic and pedestrian traffic.
The Yield to Heels campaign kicked off on Wednesday to remind students to be extra careful on those crosswalks.
That's right. Volunteers handed out pamphlets and t-shirts to pedestrians at 4 intersections on campus. They say there's an increased need for safety and awareness with the many construction projects going on campus.
And with over half of the campus under construction now, we feel it's very important to raise awareness of pedestrian safety, make sure everybody slows down in their cars and stays more aware when they're walking to class.
Public safety officers say South Road is particularly dangerous for pedestrians and hope this campaign will help keep them safe.
Well, Carolina students are sending off the men's basketball team.
And they're welcoming home some other heroes, a hero's tale of life in a war zone. When we return.
Women's Center, may I help you?
The Women's Center is a nonprofit agency that has served as a meeting place for women in the Triangle since 1979, making it one of the oldest freestanding women's centers in the country. The mission of the Women's Center is to provide a supportive community where all women can inspire each other to grow, both personally and professionally.
I was going through a crisis at home, and I contacted Helpline, and they referred me directly to the Women's Center.
I think the Women's Center is really important for the community because it offers so many different kinds of resources, And if we don't have the resource here, we can find an avenue or a way for women to find the answers that they need.
It is inspiring. It's so exciting to be a part of something that really matters and really changes things.
You can support the Women's Center through membership or by sending a contribution to the Women's Center, 210 Henderson Street, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27514.
Former North Carolina Senator John Edwards is outlining ways the government can fight poverty. Tuesday, he gave his first speech as director of the new Center on Poverty, Work, and Opportunity at UNC's Law School Rotunda. Edwards says Washington should help families build their assets, should raise the minimum wage, and expand the Earned Income Tax Credit.
One of the problems with the Earned Income Tax Credit today is it does very little to help single workers. They work full-time and they still live below the poverty line.
Edwards says the 36 million Americans in poverty just want a chance to live the American dream. He says that can come only with reform of the system.
A new bill could help support North Carolina's growing wine industry. ABC stores aren't permitted to carry wine with low alcohol content levels. But if the bill passes, all North Carolina wines, regardless of alcohol content, could be sold. It would also offer a new avenue for North Carolina wine distributors. Courtney, sexual assault is one of the most serious and fast-growing violent crimes in America.
That's right, Joe. According to the Rape Crisis Center, 1.3 rapes occur each minute in the U.S. Tuesday night, UNC students gathered for a rally and march to take back the night from sexual predators.
What do we want? Say street. When do we want them? Now.
The streets of Chapel Hill reverberated with chants against sexual violence.
Take back the night.
And to take back the night, the UNC students lit candles and marched Franklin Street carrying signs to let it be known they won't live in fear of sexual predators.
We will not be victimized.
Students also had the opportunity to hear author Lori Robinson speak about her book, I Will Survive, and relate her own experience with sexual assault. She says events such as Take Back the Night are important steps to end acts of sexual violence.
We all can do something to end sexual violence, and that this is something that is impacting us whether or not you yourself are a victim, because it impacts so many people.
The rally and the march were a part of Women's Week events on campus. More than 100 students participated. Students on campus are also taking part in Support the Troops Week.
The UNC Carolina troop supporters invited military police officers to tell their experiences in Iraq. These Army soldiers spent a year in Iraq. Tuesday night, they talked about the emotional hardships of being away from home, their personal views of Iraq, and what it's like to be in vehicles that were hit by explosives. They also showed pictures of soldiers who lost their lives while serving in Iraq. These images displayed the reality of war. Specialist Waylon Cropper explained what it was like to be in the middle of an ambush.
You hear the bullets going off, you'd be like, man, I wonder if this one's for me. And then mostly thinking of saving the guys that were with me. Since I was a gunner, they were down below inside the truck, so I'm trying to keep the bullets from coming to us, so you got to stop them before they stop you.
Despite the obvious danger, the soldiers are going back to Iraq in October.
Well, the weather has been beautiful outside.
It certainly has. Meredith Croak joins us now.
Well, guys, it really has been a great couple of days out there. And coming up, I'll let you know. Some students actually even thought it was good enough to take a dunk outside. And I'll have your full forecast coming up, letting you know if it's going to stay sunny or if it will start to rain.
Kids are in trouble. They're not getting high on drugs or stealing. If they were, you'd do something about it right now. But why is it almost half of all parents who suspect their child has a problem learning wait a year or more before getting help? Why? Kids with learning disabilities are smart. They just learn differently. Call now. The sooner you get help, the better the chance your kid has.
I did not say that. Oh, no. Right. Honey, it's written all over the outfit. Okay. I will sleep with someone on the first date. I knew it. I knew it. But that's only if I know that he's not going to be there only for one night. Are you going to take it out? Correct, Jane.
Excuse me, ladies. Have you been tested for HIV?
Tested?
You don't mean like each time,
Oh,
do
no.
you?
Like how often?
Do you get tested?
Hi, Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm meteorologist Meredith Croak. Well, we have a great forecast coming up. We do have mild temps, just some spotty showers, and a very sunny Sunday, so it looks like it's going to stay pretty nice out there. As we take a look at your satellite map now, there has been some clouds that moved off the coast. This moved through Tuesday and into Wednesday is when we saw these rain showers, but clearing skies over North Carolina. But back to the west, we do have some clouds that we do want to watch out for. This system will start to reach us as we go into Friday and Saturday, so we have to keep in mind for that. But currently we just have clear skies Wednesday, Thursday, and even parts of Friday look like it's going to be beautiful out there. Now looking at that surface map, we're dominated by high pressure currently. This is what's going to keep our weather on Wednesday and into Thursday pretty nice outside. But back to the west, we do have this cold front. That's going to start to push through during the day on Friday and into Saturday, really drop our temperatures down for Saturday. High might not even make it out of the 50-degree mark on Saturday, so we do have to keep in mind for that. You can see just the remnants of the storm system that moved through on Tuesday, moving off the shore. That brought us some very heavy rain showers on Tuesday, but currently just beautiful weather out there. As we take a look at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast, we do have a high on Friday, 69 degrees. We will have those rain showers on Friday, so if you have any outdoor plans on Friday, want to make sure to watch out for that. Only have a low of 49 degrees though. Saturday, mostly cloudy skies. Could see the sun at some point during the afternoon, high of 59, so a little bit chillier on Saturday, and the low on Saturday would be 40 degrees. As we go into Sunday and Monday, we are getting back to that warm up, so it looks like spring will be returning towards the end of the week with highs in the lower 70s and lows around the upper 40s. Now, if you're heading out to the beach this weekend, do you have highs in the beach in the 60s on Saturday and Sunday, so not the greatest weather for the beach. The sea breeze is going to keep the weather a little bit cooler out there. Mostly cloudy skies on Sunday, and on Sunday, mostly sunny skies. And as you're heading to the mountains this weekend, we have a high temperature of 55 on Saturday and warming up to 65 on Sunday with lows in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Now, if you're heading to the game on Saturday night out to Franklin Street, it looks like it's going to be pretty nice out there. About 42 degrees as you're heading out to go watch the game and enjoy it. Tip-off time is 8:37, so I'm sure there'll be a big crowd on Franklin Street.
It looks a little cooler there in St. Louis, but we're very much looking forward to watching those games.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much, Meredith.
I know I'm certainly excited to get on Franklin Street and watch the games. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Knock on wood. Carolina will do well in the final games.
I know. Well, Ann Sexton joins us now for sports. Ann, anything special planned for you for the game?
Well, last weekend I got there early on Franklin Street, got my spot in front of the TVs, watched the Duke and State game, which was good luck for us. So I'll probably do that again, but at the Dean Dome, sounds like a good idea to head out to the Dean Dome and hang out with the other students. So coming up on sports, with the Final Four coming up this weekend, fans across the country are keeping a close eye on their brackets. And as these tournament games go down to the wire, some students here at UNC have more than pride riding on the outcome.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll put that out.
Good evening. Follow me, please.
Imagine what America would be like today if Martin Luther King never had a dream. Help keep the dream alive. To find out more about the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington, D.C., call or log on now.
Welcome back to the Final Four edition of Carolina Week Sports. I'm Ann Sexton. Whether you're a member of one of the winningest teams in Carolina basketball history or just one of the group of die-hard fans, this Saturday, the destination is the same. 800 miles, St. Louis or bust. Aaron Macbeth has the story.
Approached the Dean Smith Center Tuesday with one thing in mind: dedication.
I mean, if you're not dedicated, you're not going to do it. Some of my friends didn't want to go because they didn't think the 30-hour trip altogether wouldn't be worth it, but yeah, I definitely think it is.
But Omar isn't alone. Several hundred students joined him in visiting the Dean Dome ticket office, each dropping between $130 and $170 apiece, all for the chance to see the Heels in their first Final Four appearance since 2000. So with the tickets secured, only one problem left: how to get there.
We're all going to be together in the same car. 5 of us in a 2-door Explorer, so that should be interesting. Close quarters. Yeah.
With flights costing upwards of $1,000 round trip, many students have decided to hit the road for the 12-hour drive. These Carolina ladies are carpooling, or make that van-pooling.
She has volunteered to drive her mother's purple minivan to St. Louis. And so we call it the Barney Mobile.
And as for this guy?
Driving 12 hours overnight in a Camry with 5 guys.
But what happens when the guys you were supposed to go with have no room left in the car? Well, you get creative.
I'm going to take a Southwest flight to Kansas City, and then at 10:30 at night, I'm going to take a bus, a Greyhound bus from Kansas City to St. Louis.
At 5 o'clock Tuesday night, the signs were taken down after the last tickets were given away, leaving these fans to say,
"Go Heels! We'll see you in St. Louis."
Thanks, Aaron. While getting from Chapel Hill to St. Louis might be easy, staying there might prove difficult. The Heels have to be careful or they might become the Spartans' next upset victim. The boys in blue hope to taste victory this weekend behind big man Sean May, who's been on a tear through the tournament and seems unstoppable. And if we see the same Rashad McCants on Saturday that we did against Wisconsin, Michigan State might drop like so many Tar Heel threes. Watch out, though. Michigan State won't go down without a fight. The Spartans are already giant killers, taking down #1 seed Duke and #2 seed Kentucky to reach the Final Four. As far as Final Four experiences go, the coaches of the 2 #1 seeds, Bruce Weber and Roy Williams, have yet to win a national title, while Rick Pitino and Tom Izzo are both looking for championship #2. Don't think the Tar Heel players don't have that lack of a title on their minds.
Coach Williams is a guy that wants to win, and he's instilled that into us. Just the fire and the desire that he has towards the game, he's definitely put that inside of us. He wants to win, and it shows.
We didn't set out just to get to a Final Four, and we didn't do all this hard work in the offseason.
Some students here on campus have a lot riding on the Final Four as well: money. Reporter Brian Allen has this story about tournament gambling.
If you're a college basketball fan, then March is definitely your favorite month. The 64 televised games, part of a 19-day single-elimination tournament, provide for some of the most dramatic moments in all of sports. But for some fans, it isn't enough. Many of them will enter a gambling pool and attempt to predict the winner of each game in the tournament.
I got 2 of the teams. I got Illinois and UNC.
I called the University of Wisconsin game, and I didn't see Bucknell, though.
Sophomore Dusty Rapp has been competing in gambling pools since he was 10 years old.
I mean, if you spend $5 to $10 like I do and you miss out, you just kind of accept it. But every now and again you hit the jackpot.
Unfortunately for casual gamblers like Dusty, any form of gambling in the state of North Carolina is illegal. Article 14-292 of the NC gambling laws states any person or organization that operates any game of chance or any person who plays at or bets on any game of chance at which any money, property, or other thing of value is bet shall be guilty of a Class II misdemeanor, a charge which could carry a maximum penalty of 60 days in jail. However, police in Chapel Hill and Carrboro admit that it's a very difficult law to enforce, and fans know it.
People aren't going to be arrested for this. Cops have much more important things to worry about than a couple people betting a couple dollars.
And while cops continue to have bigger things to worry about, the only thing that worries gambling students is busted brackets. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brian Allen, Carolina Week Sports.
Thanks, Brian. And just in case you were wondering, Vegas has the Heels as 5-point favorites heading into Saturday's game against the Spartans. Well, many people were betting that the women would join the men in the Final Four. All that stood in their way was second seed Baylor in the regional finals Monday night. Coach Sylvia Hatchell and her Lady Heels got into a defensive battle early on. Baylor's D was stifling, and freshman star Elena Larkins, well, she couldn't buy a basket for most of the game. Toward the end of the half, Baylor slowed down Carolina's quick offense, pulled away by 9 with this last-second layup. And in the second half, Baylor extended its lead to 19 as Carolina continued to turn the ball over. Point guard Ivory Lotta answered this fan's wish and led a late-game drive to get Carolina within 7, but it was too little too late. Baylor heads to the Final Four for the first time in school history with a 72-63 win. And after scoring 23 runs in its past 2 games, the baseball team hoped to keep hitting hard against Winthrop at home Tuesday night. Chad Flack knows the best way to score runs is to hit over all their players. Flack with the 2-run bomb in the 5th, and Josh Horton adds a lead with the 7th with his own 2-run shot. Anybody from the stands want to pitch for Winthrop? Yep, I didn't think so. The Heels poured on in the 8th with a Seth Williams grand slam. All 4 home runs come from freshmen as Carolina pounds Winthrop 15-5. Well, this weekend, we not only have basketball, but actually spring football game is happening. So.
all right.
Oh, wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. Saturday?
Saturday at noon.
All
No
right.
matter what, basketball is still on my mind, that is for sure.
For sure, I think it's on everyone's. I hope it is at least.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, Ann.
Thanks, Ann.
Well, all aboard. This next story is right on track.
Coming up, we'll show you one man who definitely hasn't lost his train of thought.
No one looks back fondly on the years they spent in a parking garage. When we lose a historic place, we lose a part of who we are. Help protect historic places in your community. Visit nationaltrust.org.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
With the weather warming up and flowers blooming, lots of folks are spending time in their yards.
As Bren Tuggle reports, one Durham man doesn't have a garden, but a touch of the European landscape in his backyard.
Herb Fritz has what some might call an unusual backyard. Unusual because he has trains running through it. His train village started as a hobby, but soon became a passion. And despite the hard work, Fritz says it's something that provides a calm retreat for him and his wife.
Well, it's a lot like the ocean to us. We can sit here and watch the waterfalls and the trains running. It's a very quiet, relaxing thing to do on a nice summer afternoon.
Fritz says there are many different parts of the village that make it unique, such as the waterfalls and bridges, or the detailed buildings that all have special meaning.
A lot of the buildings are named specifically for members of the family or things that we've seen or done in our lives.
The village is called Fritzerland, named to rhyme with Switzerland, a place the Fritz family has enjoyed visiting. Fritzerland took 5 years to build. It consists of 800 feet of track, 14 trains, and countless hours of enjoyment. And the members of the Fritz family aren't the only people who get to enjoy Fritzerland. Fritz's neighbor, Elizabeth Sharp, says this is the first time she's ever had a neighbor she's enjoyed visiting so much.
Oh, I just think it's so much fun to have a neighbor who's nice and has a very nice looking yard.
Fritz enjoys Fritzerland just as much as everyone else who sees it. He says it's been a hobby well worth his time. In Durham, I'm Bryn Tuggle, Carolina Week.
Fritzerland is a child's dream.
I think it definitely is. And watching that, I don't think you'd know without the narration that is not, that they're small trains, that they're models.
At first it looked really
Some of those
really
videos look
real.
like you might want to hop on or something and take a little drive.
I know, I wish I had that when I was growing
I
up.
think so. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching, good night, and go Heels!
Go Heels.